5 stretches that solve 90% of your problems after 40. Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes all your body needs to function better is a small adjustment to your routine? A simple detail that can be done at home without equipment, and that can completely transform your posture, relieve chronic pain, and even improve your energy throughout the day. That's exactly what you're about to discover. There's a select group of stretches that have the power to undo years of muscle tension, tightness, back pain, and even problems you thought could only be fixed with medication or surgery. And the most interesting part is that you don't need to spend an hour at the gym or become a yoga expert. It's just 5 stretches, simple, straightforward, and incredibly effective that you can do in less than 15 minutes. And the impact they can have on your body is immense. The first stretch you need to know is the well-known kneeling hip flexor stretch. This is one of the most overlooked movements by people who spend a lot of time sitting, like office workers or those who drive for long periods. The hip flexors are muscles located right at the front of your hips, and they play an essential role, lifting your legs and allowing you to bend at the waist. In short, they're involved in almost every basic daily movement. When these muscles become shortened, and something that easily happens when we spend too much time sitting, they begin to pull the pelvis forward, changing the curve of the lower spine and overloading the area. This can lead to back pain, postural imbalances, and even affect your performance when walking, running, or squatting. That's why the hip flexor stretch is such a powerful tool. To do it correctly, start by kneeling on a mat or a comfortable surface. Place one knee on the ground and bring the opposite foot forward so that your front knee forms a 90-degree angle. Now here's the trick: activate the glute of the back leg. This will lock the pelvis in place and allow the stretch to be deeper and safer. From there, gently lean your torso forward, keeping your chest open and your core engaged. You'll feel a deep stretch at the front of the hip on the leg that's behind. Hold this position for at least 30 seconds. Breathing slowly and deeply, then switch sides. If you want to intensify the effect, you can raise the arm on the same side as the kneeling leg and lean your torso to the opposite side. This will activate an even broader stretch line that runs along the entire side of your torso. It's a simple movement, but if done consistently, it can help correct your posture and relieve pain you didn't even realize the source of anymore. Now, before we move on to the next stretch, here's an important update. Instead of the traditional cat-cow, we're going to include a more modern and functional variation, the active bridge stretch. It not only mobilizes the spine, but also strengthens the lower back, glutes, and core muscles. Key areas for spinal health and overall body stability. To perform this exercise, lie on your back on a mat with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Your arms should be at your sides with your palms facing down. Now squeeze your glutes and lift your hips toward the ceiling until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deeply and keeping your core tight. This movement not only gently stretches the front of your hips, but also intensely activates the muscles that stabilize your lower back. The key here is control. It's not just about lifting your hips quickly. You need to hold the position with control and body awareness. If done daily, this movement reduces stiffness in the spine, activates dormant glutes, something common in people who sit for long periods, and relieves pressure on the lumbar vertebrae. It's an excellent alternative to the cat-cow mobility exercise, with the added benefit of building strength. And this is where the transformation begins. As you start including these specific stretches and activations in your routine, your body begins to respond differently. Your posture improves, pain decreases, and even simple movements, like walking, bending down, or getting up from a chair, become easier and more natural. If you've ever felt pain or stiffness in your upper back, neck, or even noticed your shoulders starting to round forward over time, know that it's more common than you might think, especially after 40. One of the biggest culprits behind this issue is the shortening of the chest muscles. And no, this doesn't only happen to people who overtrain or lift weights. It's a result of modern life. Think about it. How many hours a day do you spend looking down at your phone, typing on a computer, driving, or simply slouched on the couch watching TV? All of this, over the years, gradually shapes your posture in a negative way, and what starts as a small discomfort or slight shoulder stiffness slowly evolves into chronic pain, tension headaches, and in many cases difficulty breathing deeply. The good news is that this can be reversed, and one of the simplest and most effective ways is through the doorway chest stretch. It may seem simple at first glance, but the depth of the effects it can have on your body is truly transformative. This exercise directly targets the release of the major and minor pectoral muscles that often become shortened when we spend too much time in hunched positions. Let's learn how to do it correctly. First, stand in front of an open doorway, placing your arms at 90-degree angles with your forearms and hands resting against the door frame, roughly at shoulder height. Now, take a step forward with one leg and shift your body weight forward as if you're walking through the door. As you do this, you'll feel a deep opening in the front of your chest and shoulders. This feeling of expansion is exactly what we're aiming for. Keep your chest open and your head aligned with your spine. Don't let your chin stick out. Breathe deeply as you hold this position for about 30 seconds. Then relax, breathe, and repeat one more time. This stretch not only improves shoulder mobility, but also relieves neck pain and can even improve your breathing by freeing up space for your lungs to expand. Here's a small detail that many people overlook. While doing this stretch, gently engage your abdominal muscles. This prevents your lower back from being pushed forward, protecting your spine and making the movement even more effective. And you know what's even more powerful? When you start doing this type of stretch every day, even if just for a few minutes, you begin to notice your posture adjusting automatically throughout the day. You feel more upright, lighter, and even more energized to move. Posture affects your breathing, focus, and even your mood. So yes, opening your chest every day can improve your life as a whole. And now that you understand how this simple doorway stretch can undo years of accumulated tension, it's time to move on to the next exercise. In the original video, the presenter shows the frog stretch, which is excellent, but we're going to make a small variation here, replacing that movement with another that offers similar benefits, but with an even more functional focus for daily life, the wall-supported adductor stretch. This version is perfect for those who need to release tension in the inner thighs, improve hip mobility, and relieve pain that radiates to the knees or lower back, especially for people who sit a lot or feel discomfort when squatting. To do this stretch, stand next to a wall or stable surface. Spread your legs sideways with your feet slightly turned outward and your knees soft, not locked. Place one hand on the wall for balance. Now, slowly bend one knee, shifting your weight to that leg while keeping the other leg extended. You'll feel the stretch in the inner thigh of the extended leg. The key here is to keep your torso upright and push your hips back, as if you were sitting on an imaginary bench. Breathe deeply, hold this position for 30 seconds, then switch sides. If you want to intensify the stretch, keep the extended leg fully supported on the heel and lower your hips a little more, without losing stability. This stretch is excellent for improving your ability to squat safely, preventing knee injuries, and even helping relieve lower back pain. It also increases the internal space of the pelvis, which greatly supports hip mobility, especially helpful for those who enjoy walking, running, or doing activities that require quick changes in direction. Combined with the doorway chest stretch, this exercise creates an interesting contrast. You open the upper body while also releasing the lower body, now promoting complete balance between your torso and pelvis. This helps your body move more harmoniously, fluidly, and without compensation. And if you've made it this far, you're probably starting to realize that these movements aren't just generic stretches. They are strategic tools focused on restoring what time a sedentary lifestyle and bad habits have taken from your body. And when used mindfully, they have the power to reverse negative patterns built up over years. Before we wrap up this second part, here's a bonus tip. Whenever possible, try to combine these stretches with a moment of conscious breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 2 seconds, and exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation, muscle recovery, and a more centered mental state. Now that you're familiar with the key stretches for opening up your hips and chest, two critical areas that influence your posture and overall well-being, it's time to talk about one of the most neglected parts of the body, but one that literally supports all your movements, your spine. The health of your spine affects absolutely everything, from your mobility, ability to walk, run, and bend over, to your breathing and digestion. And when your spine starts to lose mobility, you feel it everywhere. Lower back pain, difficulty getting out of bed, constant back tension, and even limited range of motion when turning your neck or moving your arms. That's why stretching and mobilizing the spine in a smart smart way is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, especially after age 40, and in this case, instead of the traditional lying spinal twist, which requires a fair amount of floor space and may not be comfortable for everyone, we'll replace it with an equally effective and more versatile variation, the seated spinal twist. This stretch intensely works the mobility of your thoracic and lumbar spine, helping to restore rotational movement, a type of movement that gradually fades over time and can lead to chronic pain, especially if you drive, sit for long periods, or perform repetitive motions daily. Let's go straight to the practice. Sit on the floor with your legs extended in front of you. Bend your right knee and cross your leg over the left, placing your right foot on the outside of your left thigh near the knee. Now place your right hand behind you on the floor for support. With your left arm, either hug or cross over your right knee, gently pressing it to the opposite side. Slowly rotate your torso to the right, looking over your shoulder. The key here is to keep your spine upright throughout the movement. Imagine someone is pulling the top of your head upward. The more upright your posture, the deeper and safer the twist will be. Hold the position for 30 to 45 seconds, breathing deeply. Then return to center with control and repeat on the other side. This movement seems simple, but its effectiveness is surprising. It helps release accumulated tension between the vertebrae, loosens the paraspinal muscles, those that support the spine on both sides, and even stimulates internal organs like the liver and kidneys, improving circulation and even digestion. It's one of those movements that, when done regularly, transforms how your body feels during everyday movements. And the best part, it can be done on the floor, on a mat, or even on a firm bed or mattress. It's accessible, versatile, and works for all ages. Many people notice that after including this exercise in their routine, they feel significant relief from the tension that used to bother them at the end of the day, especially in the lower back and between the shoulder blades. If you want to take the effect even further, try doing this twist after a warm shower or a light walk. Your body will be more warmed up and your muscles more receptive to the stretch. In addition, adding rhythmic breathing to the movement, inhaling while preparing the posture and exhaling slowly while holding the twist, can further enhance the relaxing and restorative effects. One important note, never force the twist beyond your limit. The goal here isn't to see how far you can rotate, but rather to cultivate healthy, functional mobility that's free of tension. Over time, your body will naturally gain more range of motion, and for those who often feel pain or stiffness when getting out of bed or after long periods of sitting, this seated twist can be a game changer. Often, this kind of pain comes from a lack of rotation and the stiffening of the muscles around the spine. By adding this movement to your routine, even for just a few minutes a day, you'll be giving your body back an essential ability to move freely. At the end of this practice, it's very common to feel an immediate sense of relief and well-being. It's as if your spine can breathe, easing internal pressure and restoring your body's natural alignment. And the more you commit to this kind of self-care, the more results you'll see. Now, think with me. How many hours of your day do you spend solving work problems, taking care of the house, or helping others? And how many minutes do you set aside to take care of yourself, your body, your spine that carries you every single day? Exactly. That's why stretches like this are not a luxury. They are a necessity, a way to preserve your independence, your health, your energy, and even your motivation to enjoy life more fully.